In the glittering heart of New York City, where fine dining often comes with a side of judgment, a weary man in jeans and scuffed shoes stepped into one of the city's most exclusive restaurants. What happened next? A lesson in humility, kindness, and the astonishing grace of none other than Hollywood's most enigmatic star, Keanu Reeves. The waiter who threw Keanu Reeves out for being poor. It was a breezy Tuesday evening when Patrick Murray, a seasoned waiter at La Belle Époque, noticed a man sitting alone at a corner table. The restaurant was one of the most exclusive in New York City, frequented by celebrities, millionaires, and those looking to flaunt their wealth. Patrick had seen his fair share of famous face actors, musicians, CEOs, but the man in the corner looked decidedly out of place. His hair was slightly disheveled, and he wore a simple black t-shirt and worn jeans. His shoes were scuffed, the kind you'd find at a discount store. Patrick couldn't help but wonder how this man had slipped past the maitre d' at the entrance. "Excuse me, sir," Patrick said, approaching the table with a forced smile. "May I help you?" The man looked up, his face calm and kind. "Yes, I'd like a menu, please." Patrick hesitated. "Do you have a reservation?" "No," the man admitted, "but I was hoping you might have a spot for a walk-in." Patrick's eyes narrowed. Walk-ins were rare at La Belle Époque, and they were usually wealthy tourists willing to pay exorbitant prices on a whim. Something about this man, though, made Patrick doubt he could afford even the appetizer menu. "We're fully booked," Patrick said flatly, though it wasn't entirely true. The restaurant had a few open tables, but they were reserved for VIPs or potential high spenders. The man didn't argue. Instead, he nodded, his expression unchanging. "I understand. Thank you anyway." As he stood to leave, something in his demeanor gave Patrick pause. There was no resentment or frustration, just quiet acceptance. It was unusual. Still, Patrick reminded himself that this was New York. They couldn't let just anyone waltz in off the street. Twist of fate. The following evening, Patrick was working his usual shift when the restaurant's owner, a sharp-eyed Frenchman named Jacques, summoned him. "Patrick, there's someone here to see you," Jacques said, his voice tinged with amusement. Patrick frowned. "Who is it?" Jacques gestured toward the front of the restaurant. Standing there was the same man from the night before, but this time, he wasn't alone. Beside him stood a woman in a sleek black dress and a man in a tailored suit. Patrick approached cautiously. "Sir, can I help you?" The man smiled. "I believe I have a reservation tonight. Name's Reeves, Keanu Reeves." Patrick's heart skipped a beat. He looked at the reservation list, and there it was, Keanu Reeves, party of 3. Suddenly, the pieces clicked into place. The man he had dismissed as out of place was none other than the Hollywood actor. Patrick felt a wave of embarrassment wash over him. How could he have been so blind? "Welcome to La Belle Époque, Mr. Reeves." Patrick stammered. "Right this way, please." Keanu followed him to a prime table near the window, his companions chatting softly as they settled into their seats. Patrick tried to shake off his nerves as he handed them the menus. "Thank you," Keanu said, his voice warm. If he remembered Patrick's rudeness from the night before, he didn't show it. A lesson in humility. Throughout the evening, Patrick couldn't help but observe Keanu. He was nothing like the high-maintenance celebrities Patrick had served in the past. He spoke softly, listened intently to his companions, and treated the staff with genuine kindness. When Patrick accidentally spilled a bit of water while refilling Keanu's glass, the actor simply smiled and said, "Don't worry about it." As the night went on, Patrick's guilt grew. He decided to apologize. "Mr. Reeves," he said quietly, approaching the table after the main course, "I owe you an apology. Last night, I didn't recognize you, and I was less than accommodating. I'm sorry." Keanu looked at him for a moment, his expression thoughtful. Then he said, "It's okay, you were doing your job, but I judged you." Patrick admitted, "I assumed well. I assumed you didn't belong here." Keanu chuckled softly. "You're not the first person to do that. And honestly, I don't blame you. This place isn't exactly my usual scene." Patrick blinked, surprised by his humility. "Why did you come back, if you don't mind me asking?" Keanu's smile widened. "Because my friends love this place, and I didn't want to disappoint them. And because, well, I wanted to give it another shot. Life's too short to hold grudges, don't you think?" Paying it forward. By the end of the meal, Patrick had a newfound respect for Keanu Reeves. When the check came, Keanu paid without a second glance, leaving a tip so generous that Patrick's jaw nearly dropped. "Thank you for your service," Keanu said as he stood to leave, "and don't worry about last night. We all make mistakes." After they left, Patrick found himself reflecting on the encounter. He realized how quick he had been to judge someone based on appearances, and how wrong he had been. Keanu's kindness and grace had taught him a lesson he wouldn't soon forget. The story didn't end there, though. A few weeks later, Patrick received a package at the restaurant. Inside was a handwritten note. "Patrick, thank you for taking care of us that night. I wanted to share something that's always helped me stay grounded. Hope it does the same for you. Best, Keanu." Along with the note was a signed copy of a book about mindfulness and gratitude. Patrick smiled as he read the note. Keanu Reeves hadn't just forgiven him, He had gone out of his way to teach him something valuable. From that day on, Patrick made a conscious effort to treat every customer with the same kindness and respect, regardless of their appearance, and every time he opened the book Keanu had sent him, he was reminded of the men who had taught him that everyone, no matter how they look or where they come from, deserves to be treated with dignity. Epilogue. Years later, Patrick would often tell the story to new hires at La Belle Époque. Never judge a book by its cover, he'd say with a grin, because one day, that poor guy in the corner might just be the most generous person you'll ever meet, and for Patrick, it was a lesson worth its weight in gold. And that's the story of how a simple act of kindness from Keanu Reeves turned one perspectivian life around. If you enjoyed this heartwarming tale, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of the goodness in the world. See you next time.